Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about a tougher subject. We're talking about escaping relationship abuse. If you are currently in this situation, please remember that everything in this checklist can be done after the escape. Your safety is the most important part of this workshop. And if you love someone who is currently in this situation, perhaps instead of sending them the link, you provide them a safe place to watch this video and play it for them. Let's get started. My name is Tina Herndon. I'm a financial educator here at TFCU, Tinker Federal Credit Union, and today's topic is financial checklist for escaping relationship abuse. You will hear me say the word be safe, safety so much during this workshop because safety is the most important concern when you are planning an escape. And though planning reduces recovery time, remember, we can recover later, and you might actually have a lot of help to help you recover. Changes should be planned carefully to avoid detection. That means maybe doing one thing, make sure that it's not missed, then do another thing. Instead of doing this checklist all at once, but make sure you are keeping in the forefront of your mind your safety. Gradual changes are best if time and safety allows. Sometimes we just have to grab things and go. That's okay. Everything can be replaced. And again, your safety is the most important concern. If you can work with an advocate, they can open a lot of doors for you. They can also walk you through this checklist before or after you escape, but they can also help you reduce that recovery time. And anything you missed, again, can be fixed later. We can fix it, we can recover it. Nothing in here has to be done before you leave. But it could be easier if you have time and you are safe to be able to prepare. So this is the planning ahead phase. Research your insurance. That means health, life insurance, auto insurance, your property insurance, maybe you have renter's insurance. All of those could come into effect, because 1.3 million women and 835,000 men are abused every year. And it is the leading cause to 40 to 50% of murders in the United States. So we want to make sure that we are properly insured because this is going to be a dangerous thing. Open a checking and savings account in your name. You have the right to have your own checking account. You do not have to combine your money if you don't choose to do that. It's called the Fair Credit Opportunity Act. Feel free to look that up. Fair Credit Opportunity Act. Identify income streams and financial obligations. What is your name actually on? Perhaps the car is in your name and that is your responsibility, or is it a joint asset that you have together? But figure out how much money you have going in and what are you actually financially responsible for paying. And back up your computer and cell phone if you can. Save passwords and links to important sites on maybe an Excel spreadsheet, or even if you write them down, just don't leave them there. Make sure you put them in your bag as soon as you write them down. Maybe send links to those important sites to your personal email that you can access later. And it probably should be a new email address that you're using just for this purpose. Pull a copy of credit reports. You can go to annualcreditreport.com and pull a free credit report every week. And this can also be important when you're recovering, because sometimes we can't control how other people use our information. So you may want to lock those credit reports, but we'll talk about that later. Make a post-escape budget. How much money do you have for rent? That will be very important when you are trying to figure out where you're going to live and what your lifestyle is going to look like post-escape. And seek legal advice if possible, especially if little ones are involved. Make sure you know what is legal, what is not legal. Make sure that you know what your rights are and everything that you are entitled to. I am a divorced woman. I do wish that I would have at least talked to an attorney at some point because I made some mistakes. Now, we are going to close the unneeded accounts that are in your name. If you have a credit card and that's part of your escape plan, that's not the one to close, but make sure that you have the money to be able to make those payments, or you think you're going to be able to have that money, because if you can not go into debt during this time, that's what's going to be best for you. Make legal withdrawals of funds. Here's where I tell you, I am not an attorney. I cannot give you legal advice, but make sure that the money that you take out is not money that you're going to have to pay back later. Locate important documents, but move them at the right time. As I mentioned earlier, maybe we move one thing. If it's not missed, then we move another thing. Gradual will really help us stay safe. And rent a post office box. But don't forget to complete a change of address with the post office if it's safe. So if you have a post office box, we can start to have the mail that's associated with our new lives, we can have that sent to the P.O. box and then maybe still get some of our mail there, and then gradually over time, as we get statements or whatever you're having mailed to you, we can start to move those accounts over to that P.O. box as well. Or you could enroll in the free address confidentiality program. If you're asking what is that, I'm about to tell you. The Address Confidentiality Program allows victims to mask their home address. So the mail will be directed to the Oklahoma Attorney General's office, and then they will forward that to your address, the safe address. And that way you can have all of your mail sent there instead of somewhere that it might be intercepted, or maybe some of the mail that wouldn't be safe for them to be able to receive. So what mail qualifies? Any first class mail that is not a package. So if you make that Amazon delivery, that cannot be delivered through the confidentiality program. But medication is the exception. Those can be delivered through the confidentiality program. However, remember, there's going to be more time involved in this. So you may want to order those medications a little bit earlier, or make sure that you have a plan for that. So who is eligible? Victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, or stalking. And you will go through a certified advocate to enroll you. So if you call a shelter or someone at the YWCA or something like that, those can really help you. But you also have to be an Oklahoma resident, because it is through the Oklahoma Attorney General's office, and it might take too long to get you the mail if you're not in Oklahoma. I keep saying the words important documents, but I am yet to tell you what that includes. So here is the list. Birth certificates, social security cards, driver's license, property deeds, marriage license. Wait, there's more. Divorce decree, will or trust, adoption papers, death certificates, and immunization records. Especially if you are leaving with children, that might be important to get them enrolled into school. So here are some important details. Pack the documents at the right time for each person leaving. So I am recording this in August. That's back to school season. If you need to show your immunization records, if you need social security cards or birth certificates for your children, maybe as soon as you use them to get them into the school of their choosing, then you pack those away. So as you're using important documents, maybe that's the right time to put them away, because they're not expecting them to be where they're supposed to be. Documents can be recovered later. They absolutely can be. But I will tell you on the left side, the birth certificate, social security card, and driver's license, I am giving you that in the proper order. You'll need your birth certificate to get a social security card, and you're going to need a social security card in order to work, and you probably need a driver's license as well, so make sure you get that birth certificate very first. And it's pretty easy to get those, at least if you were born in Oklahoma. I can't speak for other states. Now, the day of escape. This is going to be an emotional day. Your adrenaline is going to be through the roof. So we definitely want to plan this in advance if at all possible. But again, I'm going to say your safety is the chief concern. So number one, ensure that you have cash. You may or may not need it, but if you need it and you don't have it, that could cause you to be unsafe. And take only what you need. Important documents for everyone leaving. A list of important phone numbers. I know the only phone number that I have memorized is my husband's. Even my mother's phone number I don't have memorized. So I would need to write those down or make sure that I'm leaving. Your wallet with credit cards and cash. Very important. If that credit card is part of your escape plan, you want to have that. You also may be able to add that to your phone's wallet, just in case you only get to take your phone. Do not announce your departure. Did you hear that dramatic pause? That was because if you have wandered away from this workshop and your mind is wandering, please come back to me right now. This is one of the most important things I can say to you is I know that you want to say, I'm out of here, I'm leaving, let karma get my revenge. No, this is not what we need to be doing. If you announce your departure, if you announce that you're leaving, that moment of drama can cost you your life. So leave in the middle of the night, leave in the middle of the day, but do not announce today is the day I'm leaving you, because that is very dangerous. Is it safe to take your cell phone? Now, these are a lot of questions to ask. If you do choose to take your cell phone, at least turn off the location. There's so many ways that your phone can be used to track where you are. There's apps out there, even your phone yourself. I have an Apple phone. I'm a little bit Android illiterate, but my Apple ID, that if someone logs into that because they have my username and password, that can tell them where my location is because they can go straight to find my phone, and it will even play a little signal on your phone. So turn off the location. And if you need to take your cell phone, that's okay, but discuss the pros and cons with an advocate. Since I am not a certified advocate, I do not have the credentials to walk you through that pro-con list, but I encourage you to go through that with someone who actually can guide you on that decision, because it is a very important decision that can make or break a safety plan. So now we are talking about recovery time. So immediately after the escape, begin monitoring for fraud on all financial accounts. What I mean by financial accounts would be loans. It could be credit reports. I believe we're talking about that later. Checking accounts, savings accounts, the kids' checking account, the kids' savings account, or anyone else that is escaping with you. Make sure that you are watching all of those and your credit cards. Even if there's a zero balance, you should be logging in every single month, especially if you had to leave that physical card behind. And report fraud to the proper authorities. These are the proper authorities, the Federal Trade Commission. You can actually report it at identitytheft.gov, and not only report it, but it will help you create an individualized recovery plan. And also call the local police department, especially if you know who did the fraud. Get that police report because that could be really helpful later on when you're trying to regain your financial footing. Remove yourself from any remaining financial accounts that you possibly can, but strategically. Strategically remove yourself from credit card accounts. Sometimes if they're watching that, you want to be careful. And here, I'm going to say it again, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, that protects from discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, gender, marital status, and age. Again, you have the right to have your own financial accounts. Your credit, your financial life is only as combined with your partner as you choose to make it. Here are a few more things to add to that to-do list immediately after escape. So replace your important documents if you were not able to take them. So the replacement order would be birth certificates, then Social Security card, then driver's license, then passport. Why? Because you're going to need those things to go to the next level. So think of the birth certificate, that is level 1. Then you'll use that to get level 2, which is your Social Security card. Then level 3 is the driver's license. And so I want to make sure that you don't have to spend a lot of time waiting for professionals that will not be able to help you. So lobby time is not fun for anybody. And then keep a freeze or a lock on your credit. And how you do that is you go to annualcreditreport.com. You can go to each credit bureau individually. You will set up a username and a password. Please, please, please do not lose your username and password for your credit reports because it is very difficult by design for someone to regain access once they lose that username or password. And it is hard on purpose because you've asked the credit bureaus to be careful, so careful that you've frozen your credit. And what that means is nobody can pull your credit report, which also means monitoring services cannot pull your credit report as well, but also nobody can apply for credit in your name that requires a credit check. Change direct deposits to your new account. So many times I would see people that would set up their new account, put money in their new account, but then their first direct deposit went into their old account. And it was rare that they got that money back. Passwords should be changed again. The day you leave, change those passwords, then change it again. And this is a stressful time. So in advance, if you could kind of think through what are my passwords going to be, that might be helpful. And if you make them a passphrase, which means at least 12 characters, something like I ate breakfast 4:32, that would be a secure password. And so just make sure that you are using a passphrase that's 12 characters and you're changing it on a regular basis. And it's not something that your previous partner could guess. Double check beneficiaries on financial accounts and insurance policies. So often I saw money go to the wrong person because we forgot to change those financial accounts, forgot to change those beneficiaries. Change your address with a P.O. box or the address confidentiality program with your human resources department. A lot of times we'll put we will enroll in these programs or rent a P.O. box, but then we don't change our address. Therefore, they're able to find some information that they don't necessarily need to have. So here are some potential barriers to leaving and maybe things that people think, oh, I got to stay until I do this. So number 1, lease agreement. So this is an actual Oklahoma law. There's where you can find it. And since I'm not an attorney, I am not allowed to interpret the law for you. So I will not be interpreting this, but this is a copy and pasted section of that law. A victim of domestic violence, sexual violence, or stalking may terminate a lease without penalty by providing written notice and a protective order of an incident of such violence within 30 days of such incident, unless the landlord waives such time period. Again, I'm not able to interpret this for you, but that is the law. Custody disputes. This is likely to happen if you're taking children. You can set yourself up for the beginning to know what your rights, know what the law says is your right to your children. Low credit scores. Some people say, well, I can't go anywhere because I have a low credit score and I won't be able to find a place to live. There are lots of ways for us to get around those low credit scores when we're trying to help someone who is experiencing abuse. And no assets. Maybe not a car, maybe not a house. There are advocates and just amazingly compassionate community members that their passion is helping people in this type of situation. So if you don't have any assets, work with an advocate. They will find transportation to get you away from a violent situation. They will find you a place to live. Loss of employment or no income. There's job readiness programs. There are training programs. There's lots of ways for someone to become employable with training, even really good jobs. That can happen pretty quick. And so maybe we think about our safety more than what the consequences are of leaving at that time if we're in an unsafe environment. And unmanageable debt. Some of my clients would stay until they've paid off things. But if it's not a safe environment, it doesn't get safer when you're debt free. So really thinking about, is your safety worth waiting? Here is how you know that you have made a full recovery. Also, you could use this as a checklist of, okay, I accomplished level 1, I've accomplished level 2. So first one, independent financial accounts are in good standing. That means you have your own checking and savings account, you have your own possible credit cards at some point, and they are in good standing. You are not overdrawn and you're making those payments on time. A good credit score. A good credit score starts at about a 680. Excellent credit score, you're looking at about a 740, and anything over for TFCU, a 780 is considered excellent. And then sufficient insurance. Maybe you left and you didn't have any insurance, but then you got a job and now the whole family has health insurance. That's what we're looking for there. All important documents are recovered. Everything in that list earlier that pertains to your situation has been recovered. Can pay all bills on time and in full. That means paying off those credit cards every month. But maybe that will take a little longer than actually paying our bills, like our utilities and cell phones, on time every month. And you have gained your version of financial independence. Everyone's view of when you've arrived at financial independence is just a little bit different, but whatever your version of that is, you will know you have made an absolute complete recovery when you've gained your version of financial independence. So help is available. You do not have to plan alone. For help, you can text or call the Oklahoma Safeline. So if you choose to text them, just say help and someone will get back to you. But make sure that it's at the right time where you can wait just a few seconds and get a text back or receive a phone call. Now I want to leave you with some resources. The very first resources is TFCU's Member Solutions team, which is a whole department of certified financial counselors that are available to work with you one-on-one to make sure that you recover as quickly as possible. They can help you with budgeting, with credit score improvement, maybe student loan debt, debt consolidation, whatever financial questions you have as you're planning this new life. Next, we have our partner Balance. They have extended hours for their counseling services, and their services are over the phone, whereas Member Solutions can meet someone at a branch that's closest to them over the phone or virtually. And their phone number is on your screen. Just tell them that Tinker Federal Credit Union said they'd pay for your counseling, and they should say, great, let's get started. Then the web address that you see on your screen, tinkerfcu.balancepro.org, there's podcasts, videos, toolkits, calculators, and even classes that you can take 100% online completely for free anywhere you are. The last resource I'm going to share is my department. We are full-time financial educators, and if you would like to schedule an in-person or virtual workshop for an audience of 10 or more, we will travel to your school or organization completely for free. We'll bring all the supplies for the activities. We have something for every age, and that is our phone number, or if you email, that goes to every member of our team, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for spending this time here with me today. Remember to be safe. Do not announce that you're leaving before you leave. And I wish you success and happiness in your new life. Bye.